Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Welcome back to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with me, Karl Fitzpatrick. There's no doubt that Ireland is a nation of dog lovers, and my next guest, James McIlvenna from K9Connectables, has developed a range of toys which are proving to be extremely popular with our canine friends. James, will be discussing the success which you have enjoyed with K9Connectables, but I understand that it was a torn wedding album courtesy of your dog Sandy, which provided you with the inspiration for the business.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they say the best ideas come from your own problems, and we certainly had a little bit of a problem with a very high-energy dog called Sandy. It was my first dog. My wife had dogs before, but I was kind of uneducated in dog ownership, and we got Sandy as a puppy and brought her into our house and did all the right things supposedly, but still she was extremely high energy and chewed everything up in the house.
So what is K9Connectables and how has the business progressed since you originally developed the concept?
The idea is that, as in the name, you get two toys and you connect them together, and the dog has to disconnect them, and the idea is that you put a little treat inside. If you just give a dog a treat by itself, he's going to swallow it and look at you and say, what next? But dogs have been bred for thousands of years to actually work for us, so they love working, and if you can combine with giving your treats with a little bit of work, dogs actually love it. They love to use their energy and their sense of smell and kind of tear things apart as they do naturally. So that's what I'm kind of trying to recreate with the toys.
And in terms of the dog toys which you've developed, what process did you follow to imagine and then create this product range?
Really, it started as a hobby. I'm an industrial designer by trade, and so is my business partner. And I was working for a company in China at the time, actually in a completely different industry, LED lighting. But as a product designer, I worked in a number of areas, and I was looking at when I got my dog, I was looking at the dog toys in the market, and I went out and bought every dog toy you possibly can, and I was just looking at them and I thought they're pretty basic. So just for fun, we started to design these toys, and we used 3D printing technology to create prototypes and then give them to the dog.
So your own dog was the original product tester for you?
She was indeed, and she still is to this day. She's our chief product tester. And then we have a number of other dogs out and about who are also help us test the products.
And how competitive is the dog toy space? And as a new entrant, how did you stand out from the crowd?
So I suppose our core feature of being connectable is something new to the market and something I noticed wasn't out there. So that makes us stand out straight away, being the nature of the toys. But it is a very, very big market, and it's a growing market. In Ireland, there's the dog toy market alone is worth about €10 million, and if you move over to the UK, it's about £100 million is spent on dog toys. But it's a discretionary purchase, dog toys. You don't have to go out and buy dog toys, just like you'd have to buy food for a dog. So we've actually moved into the treats market as well from a business perspective. Having a consumable beside our toys is very good. It's very good for business, because someone might buy the dog toys once and say, I love them, but as a customer, they might not come back. So we have our own special premium treats that fit exactly inside the toys, and they're going really well as well.
Fantastic. Now, once you had produced the toys themselves, how did you set about getting them on the shelves of retailers?
Yeah, so it took a while, I'll be honest. I literally started developing the toys. We got a grant from Enterprise Ireland at the end of 2015, start of 2016, what's called the Competitive Start Fund grant. So I went in there, got a business plan. I talked to retailers and I needed to find out what the retailers needed in terms of margins, and it turns out they all like to essentially double their money and get about a 50% gross margin on their toys. So I had to kind of start from there, find out what I would need to kind of create and grow a business, and then literally went out to my local pet shop and said, would you be interested in buying these? And kind of from a product development role, I had to go out and put on a sales cap and turn into a salesperson and go out and talk to the chains. And pretty soon we got into Equipet, Petmania, all the Irish chains you'd see about the place, and it really started to take off.
And it was very much a direct sales route that you took as opposed to going through a distributor here in Ireland?
That was more out of necessity. I did approach the distributors all right, but distributors are so big and it's such a volume game with them. Unless you're already in the market, they don't really, in fairness, want to take you on. So you kind of have to go direct first, and then even beyond that, you struggle because the retailers would be like, well, who are you? So what we did was actually get a bit of press and go out to the newspapers and kind of make a bit of a story about it. Told them about what I told yourself about the story behind creating the products, and then the public started buying from our website and also going into pet stores to ask for the toys, and that was a huge help. And then the retailers started coming back to me, and then we started getting a bit of traction.
Well, if you've just tuned in, I'm speaking to James McIlvenna from K9Connectables. James, last year the business enjoyed a major rollout across 150 stores of the Pets Corner chain in Britain. What was involved in bringing this deal to fruition, and how have the products been performing as a result?
So, again, it's kind of a larger scale of how I started in Ireland. It's knocking on doors, getting the attention of the buyers, and persistence. I think almost every store and retailer I approached initially said no first off, but then second and third time, or they hear of us somewhere else, or they see some of our advertising, or we work a lot with influencers and trainers, and then they might hear about us again. And it's also timing, because the larger the store, they have their own buying cycles, so they might want to take you on, but they're like, well, we're not buying until March or whatever it is. So it's staying positive and keeping in touch and sending lots of samples, and not basically, excuse the pun, being like a dog with a bone, and kind of staying in there with them. And eventually, because they're so large, they started in a small trial of about 20 stores. Most of the big players would be like this, big chains. And after the trial of about 3 months, they gave us the good news that they were going to roll us out into all 150 stores. And we're delighted about that, and they've been a great partner for us for the last year and a half now.
Brilliant. Now, I know that buying cycles are one challenge facing businesses like your own, but another major challenge facing you dealing with these monster-sized retailers is agreeing payment terms and negotiating payment terms. How difficult was that?
It is difficult, and that was one of the major challenges of the business starting off. And if I go right back to the start, I essentially had to offer sale or return terms to the retailers, just to completely de-risk it for them. So I'd go in and say, look, if they don't sell, I'll buy you back. And I kind of saw it as risk-free anyway, because if it wasn't going to sell, it was going to be a disaster anyway. So it's kind of easy to go in and offer these terms. But luckily, they did sell, and then most of my customers started becoming repeat customers. But there's Enterprise Ireland were very good in upskilling me in my kind of sales skills and business skills. They offer a lot of training along with their investment into the business. So it's little things you learn along the way, and then again that whole thing of persistence and hanging in to make it happen.
So once you had established a foothold here in Ireland, the distributors then were agreeable to taking your products on, and you've gone through the distributor route as well now, I believe, in overseas markets. What markets are you currently targeting?
So there's two major trade shows in Europe kind of biannually, and that's where most of they're huge. They're like 7 RDS halls full of pet market, food and accessory businesses. So we attended a major trade show in Germany last year, and we got some really good interest from a number of countries, and we actually ended up doing business with a distributor in Denmark, in the Netherlands and in France.
And from a product development perspective, are there plans in place to extend the current range of K9Connectables products?
Absolutely, yes. We actually partnered up with an investor last year called Red Mills in Kilkenny, and they invested 300,000 into us. And then Enterprise Ireland, being an investor already, matched us and brought us into the high potential startup unit. So that has been incredible to enable us to buy a couple of 3D printers and really start developing products beyond our initial offering. So we're deep into that at the moment, and come September, October, we plan on launching, almost doubling our range, and that's going to be really powerful for us as well. We're really excited for it.
Are you building K9Connectables with a potential acquisition in mind, or do yourself and Lauren intend to grow it to keep it?
You know, either would be great, but yes, an acquisition is in the back of our minds. We've done a lot to try and protect what we have. We have a registered trademark on our name in Europe, and we have a patent on the connection system for pet toy category. And then everything we do, we try to build a brand to, have an overall umbrella protection, and then we have visual protection on our designs as well in Europe and the States. So it's about, it's a little bit of both.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was James McIlvenna from K9Connectables, and we wish James continued success in his endeavours to grow his business.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
South